On the 5-year high in volatility, as the VIX comes in at a 5-year high, indicating the highest bout of volatility in 5 years. Financial executives have been worried about economic growth. In generalized terms, you would look to the overall economic activity correlating to financial activity. That means the demand for financial products and services has a certain correlation and a clear correlation with how well the economy is performing. The bedrock of the analysis would be demand out of the economy for financial products and services, indicating activity for these financial products and services providers. Lastly, we would look at activity out of these financial products and services providers. So you know what activity is. Major product lines and major lines of services. We first issue notice that key banking firms in Europe and US have seen a sharp decline in the past month. Bank of America stock dropped by almost 14% in the past month, while the S&P 500 index lost about 12%. You could argue if the drop is attributable to data out of Bank of America. Something plausible is a Basel III implementation, whether it's felt immediately or whether there are lingering effects. So, what also matters in the outlook or the drop likely correlated to the outlook is that the outlook is worsening or the stock is following a global decline in equity tied to risk premiums. That means equity doesn't command attractive risk premiums. That is one of the reasons why people stay away from this specific stock, which is an equity position in Bank of America. In case of the S&P 500, it is inadequate risk premiums that brought on the 12% drop. So the drop in S&P 500 has to do with prior analysis we made with the risk premiums for equity being inadequate. The banking sector was the worst performing sector within the index. That means likely they lost more than the index. Related to the VIX is the S&P 500 index. The volatility of the VIX is describing the volatility within the S&P 500. So it is the source of the VIX gauge on the S&P 500 performance in the prior month. In the past month, the S&P 500 dropped near 11.5%. On yen and Swiss franc as safe havens during times of excessive turmoil. You could consider this specific period a time of excessive turmoil. Goldman Sachs indicates that as a safe haven, the yen is set to appreciate in value. The risk appetite in global markets. The risk appetite in global markets has been fading over the past 6 weeks, closely but not entirely related to the analysis we made on the outflows of US equity markets due to inadequate risk premium compensation. The forward appreciation of the yen as a safe haven asset is inflation related. Given the global turmoil in policy, economic activity, inflation, financial market volatility, the relation with the appreciation of the yen and inflation is not obvious. It can be sourced from any form of aforementioned uncertainty or related volatility.